The Whiz Kids had won it, Bobby Thompson had done it, and Yogi read the comics all the while. Rock and roll was being born, marijuana we would scorn. So down on the corner the national pastime went on trial. We're talking baseball, Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber and the Nuke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque, especially Willie, Mickey and the Duke. Well, Casey was winning, Hank Aaron was beginning, one Robbie going out, one coming in. Greiner and Midget Goodell, the Thumper and Mel Parnell, and Ike was the only one winning down in Washington. I'm talking baseball, Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber and the Duke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque, especially Willie, Mickey and the Duke. Now my old friend, the bachelor, well, he swore he was the Oklahoma Kid, and Cookie played hooky to go and see the Duke. And me, I always loved Willie, man, those were the days. Well, now it's the 80s, and Brett is the greatest, and Bobby Bonds can play for everyone. Rose is at the vet, Rusty again is a Met, and the great Alexander is pitching again in Washington. I'm talking baseball, like Reggie Quisenberry, talking baseball. Carew and Gaylord Perry, Seaver, Garvey, Schmidt, and Vida Blue. If Cooperstown is calling, it's no fluke. They'll be with Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. It was Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. Say hey, say hey, say hey. I'm talking Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. Say hey, say hey, say hey. Willie, Mickey, and the Duke. Say hey, say hey, say hey, say
From New York, home of the Isotopes, it's IsoLateNight with Scott Rogowsky. Tonight, it's Wednesday Night Baseball with MLB pitchers Jerry Blevins, Liam Hendriks, and MLB Network star Ryan Dempster. And now, it could be, it might be, it is Scott Rogowsky!
Right, baby. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, this is what I've got. This is my PPE right now. Game used by Pete Alonso. The only mask that can fit the schnoz. Welcome to Wednesday Night Baseball here on IsoLateNight with Scott Rogowsky. Yeah, I'm suiting up. A little change of wardrobe for tonight because it's a special night. We're trying something new tonight. If this were a normal April evening, I'd be live on the air right now at MLB Studios hosting Change Up on DAZN, whipping around the league to bring you all the hottest baseball action as it happens. But there's no baseball. What happened to, where'd the baseball go? Have you seen my baseball? So I'm doing this from my studio apartment turned apartment studio. But don't you worry, kids. I am bringing the heat, humming that pill tonight with not one, not two, but three genuine big league ball players. Yes, IsoLateNight is a pitcher's park tonight with Ryan Dempster, Jerry Blevins, and Liam Hendriks coming up. But first, I've been thinking about, the state of the world, the state of baseball. It's very important to me as a baseball fan and as an employee of Major League Baseball. What's going to be like when we do go back, if we go back, when we go back? A little different. Things are going to change. Even the music, the songs we hear, the classic baseball songs, they might be changing. So I've written a new version. I've written a new version of that baseball classic, Take Me Out to the Ball Game, debuting it here tonight. This is for our pandemic era, the Corona times. Take Me Out to the Ball Game, 2020 version. Bum, bum, bum. Take me out to the ball game, but keep me away from the crowds. Buy me some Purell and surgical masks. I've got hydroxychloroquine in my flask. Let us root for a vaccine. If we all die, it's a shame, for it's 6 feet away at the old ball game. Brum, bum, bum, bum. There you go. You can take that to the dugout with you. So we're waiting for baseball, but the wait for Earth Day 2020 is over. Yes, happy Earth Day 2020, the year the Earth fought back. Earth Day turned 50 this year. So I guess spent the day binge watching season 3 of Monk. Is this global pandemic Earth's midlife crisis? It must be, right? I mean, Mother Nature is divorcing Earth for Kepler 1649c. Am I right, Neil deGrasse Tyson? Kepler 1649c is an Earth-like exoplanet orbiting the red dwarf star Kepler 1649. Google it. Anyone get the feeling that Mother Nature is me-tooing humanity for all those decades of non-consensual tree hugging? Hashtag time's up. Literally. No one is keeping track of time anymore. It's funny how for so many centuries mankind thought they had dominion over the natural world, when it's abundantly clear to us now, who runs the world? Who runs the world? Who runs the world? Pangolins. Yeah, we've destroyed this planet a million different ways, but as soon as we started fucking with pangolins, that's when Mother Nature brought the hammer down. Enough is enough. Mother Nature is most definitely a Karen. She got tired of waiting for us to reduce our carbon footprint, so she did it for us by amputating the global economy below the knee. Look, I just hope you're doing your part on this Earth Day to abide by the 3 R's. I've done mine this year by reducing my popularity, reusing condoms, and recycling old monologues. Earth Day is every day, if you ask this guy. So just pay attention, Like, we're not good. We're the disease. We're the parasite. George Carlin came up with that one first, but it makes sense to this day. It rings true, as we've seen with this pandemic. I hope you're doing okay, guys. I'm doing all right. Doing all right. Feeling good about the show tonight. I think we should get into it because we have 3 fantastic guests. We're gonna do this like round robin style, so to speak. It's gonna be compounding. All right. We're gonna keep the guests out. It's gonna be like Graham Norton show style, frankly, or James Corden. I guess he does that too. We're gonna have the guests come out together here, but we're gonna start it with our first and then ad. All right. Mixing things up, baby. My first guest for this first Wednesday Night Baseball was a two-time All-Star and a World Series champion across 16 seasons in the big leagues as a pitcher with the Marlins, Reds, Cubs, Rangers, and Red Sox. Since his retirement in 2014, he's been working in the Cubs front office and as a color analyst on MLB Network, which is where I've unfortunately gotten to know him. Please welcome Canadian Baseball Hall of Famer, despite his sub-500 pitching record, Ryan Dempster, everybody.
Yes. How are we doing here? Hold on. Let's get in here. Let's lock and load it. Now we're in. Yes.
There you are.
Try that one. Try to be sub 500 and get into the Hall of Fame. That's a daunting task right there.
Exactly. And you've done it not just once with the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, but the British Columbia Sports Hall of Fame.
That was for curling though. So two totally different things.
A man of many talents and many sports. You first of all, Ryan, let's get the basics out of the way. How are you? And that's a loaded question these days. Where are you? And how many times have you watched Trouble with the Curve in the past 6 weeks? Because it's playing like every other night on MLB Network.
Yeah, I am in Chicago now. I spent a month up in Lake Geneva, not Switzerland, Wisconsin. Equally as nice though. In the pandemic, got to kind of be outside quite a bit, backed up to the forest, so the kids were running around. And now I'm in my basement in Chicago and doing good, keeping busy. And I've only seen Trouble with the Curve 4 times. So
only 4 times.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anytime you can see Clint Eastwood, you're going to go for it, right?
Absolutely. I was hoping he'd bring some of his Dirty Harry character into the movie, but not a lot of punks getting their days made.
No.
With the Curve.
No, a lot of front office executives telling them that they don't know what to talk about, though.
What's your favorite baseball movie? It's a question I guess every baseball player gets asked at some point in their lives, but I'm asking you right here and now.
Yeah, wow, man. I think probably Bull Durham.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of realistic as to what the minor leagues are like a little bit, especially back then. And I like 8 Men Out a lot too. 8 Men Out's another good one.
Durham, North Carolina, a lot like Fishkill, New York, Beacon,
yes.
Hudson Valley, Renegades.
The Renegades, 2 starts there. God, memorable times. Bump Wills was my manager.
Yeah.
What a good time that was.
Kelly Dram.
I was such a clown. I warmed up one time. We had a playoff game, and they like had like video cameras on us. Like they were like broadcasting us against the Vermont Expos. And so the camera guy started like kind of got my stuff as I was warming up, and I just threw my like first 8 pitches left-handed.
This is like your first professional start?
My second start in high. I was in rookie ball before that, in short season A. And the best was when I watched it back later, they showed me warming up left-handed, which I thought was really funny.
That's great. Ryan, you're talking to a former bat boy for the Vermont Expos.
Oh,
okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Several times through the years. My trainer in high school was the trainer for the Vermont Expos, so he gave me the hookup, baby.
Yeah.
I've been up to Winooski. I did it in Staten Island. Yeah, I got around the Penn League. Can you just give us a little quick tour? What do you got behind you there? You got a nice little setup. What are those baseballs in the home plate?
There's a whole bunch. I got some fun ones. Like this is a David Wells gave me. Yeah, that's the bottom one in the middle. There's a David Cohn, David Wells, Don Larson, perfect game balls.
Wow.
Some Hall of Famers in there, mostly Hall of Famers, and then I got like random ones up top. Like, I'll pull one out real quick here.
Yeah, you can't get that Don Larson one anymore, unfortunately.
One of my favorite ones right here. This is a good one. Can you see if you can see that right there?
Really? I mean,
hold on here.
A very small screen. Okay, so that says, "Bite me." To Ryan, bite me.
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell, nice.
Yeah, that was a good one. I like that one a lot.
You got chummy with Will, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's been a great sport. So he actually he came to throw out a first pitch a couple times, and he threw out a first pitch when he was promoting kicking and screaming, and I gave him my glove to throw out the first pitch, and he bolted with it. He just left. Stole my glove.
Just like you collect signed baseballs by comedians, he collects game-used gloves from pitchers, I guess.
He told me. I actually bumped back into him when he was doing the campaign with Zach Galifianakis, and they were there. And he right away he came up I apologize that I took your glove, and I thought that was really nice. And I was like, can I have it back? And he said he gave it to a guy begging for change out in front of a Dick's Sporting Goods. So
his basement has just gloves all on all four walls that he's stolen from players
everywhere.
That's his his little the bone collector. That's his serial killer trademark.
Leather.
Yeah, exactly.
I got balls. I got this was one of my favorite. I got this in 2013 with the Red Sox. It's the Dennis Rodman Diplomacy Award. So that's
I know you had the Tip O'Neill Award, but I know about the Dennis Rodman Diplomacy Award. What's that?
It's for hard work and effort at the Red Sox Foundation Welcome Home Party. So I was a pretty special one. I think that's a one of a kind, and I'm going to hold on to that one forever.
And the ceremony was in Pyongyang, I assume?
Via satellite. His welcome speech and his thank you was from there. Yes.
You're a lucky man. You're a lucky man, Ryan Dempster. You're getting hobnobbing Will Ferrell, Dennis Rodman via Skype, and now me. How about that?
Yes. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just slowly losing my mind here in New York, as you can tell. Unfortunately, I don't have Will Ferrell's number to hit up, or Bill Murray's maybe. I want to ask about Bill because you were a longtime player for the Cubs, and now you work for the Cubs, and of course Bill has a long association with the team. I have to assume you and Mr. Murray have shared a couple beers over the years.
Yeah, he's we've had some good times together. That was actually it's actually one of my favorite photos I have post 2016 World Series championship was on the field in Cleveland, and like both of us are like almost in tears and kind of hand on each other's shoulder, just in this genuine smile. Somebody capture it and send it to me, and we've gotten to know each other over the years. And I actually do have a really funny Bill Murray story. So in 2007, when we kind of got back to being good again, Lou Pinella's first year, and all we had to do was win one game down in Florida playing the Marlins, and we clinch our division. And so Bill comes down with his brother, and we hang out that night at the bar, and I'm closing still, I'm not starting, and we're having some pops all night, and we're having a good time. And then the next day, it's a one-run game in the bottom of the eighth inning. We're up by one, bases loaded, one out, and Lou brings me in. And it's like, that's like the worst scenario, because even a sac fly, you blow the save.
Yeah.
And I come set with the bases loaded, and Bill Murray is sitting directly across from me, like straight across in the first couple seats in Florida there. And as I come set and like check the runner, and I look over to third base, and there's Bill, and he's just like giving me a thumbs up. And I like full on stepped off. I'm like, what is he doing? You can't do that to me right now. Next pitch, sac fly, they tied it up, and then we ended up losing. But I'll never forget that. It was just unbelievable. Just like that you got this, like I had his affirmation right there.
It was the complete opposite result of the intention. You think, and I've talked to ball players now, being at the network, and guys like yourself, and it sounds like from the people I speak to when they're on the mound in their field, I mean, you have to be totally zoned in, right, and locked in, and you cut off all the distraction, all the crowd noise. But Bill Murray was able to break through that veneer.
Just visually, I wasn't hearing any of the crowd noise. It was like, you're getting locked in, and all of a sudden I'm like trying to check and it was just like, maybe it was because he was like the only one sitting over there. It just got me. It just locked me up. But that happens every once in a while. Like somebody was asking me today, they're like, hey, how do you feel if baseball played with no fans?
Yeah.
And I said, well, I played for the 1998 Florida Marlins. So, I mean, been there. And I remember pitching a first game of a doubleheader against the Expos. It was Marlins Expos, 4:00 start.
Classic.
And
man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The ratings were through the basement floor, and 104 people. That's how many people they counted.
No.
And I had runner in scoring position, and I came set, and sorry, I hadn't come set. I was looking in for the sign, and somebody above our dugout yelled, "Throw the change up!" And when there's thousands of people, you don't hear that, but when there's 104, you're like, it's a pretty good idea. I'm going to go with it. So I threw the changeup. I got him out as I'm going off the field. I didn't know who it was. I just looked above our dugout and I just said, "Whoever said that, I appreciate it. Thank you." And I just kind of looked around.
That was one of the most popular promotions at Olympic Stadium. Was that in Montreal?
Yes. No, it was in Florida.
Okay, so let me rephrase the joke. That was one of the most popular promotions at Pro Player Stadium.
It was. Suggest a pitch to your favorite pitcher out on the mound.
Right, it's the ultimate. Yeah, they take fan appreciation night to the next level. You call the game. Speaking of the Expos, Ryan, growing up in Canada, did you get Expos games, Blue Jays? Were those nationally televised? Who did you root for growing up?
Yeah, I rooted for the Blue Jays and I rooted for the Mariners because we got Cairo. So we would get like Rick Riz and Dave Niehaus calling games all the time. But every Saturday morning, I would get up and watch the French channel to watch Expo games on Saturday mornings. We get them all the time. So I'd watch games in French. And then you'd get Dave Van Horn. He'd be calling games too. Sometimes you get them with him calling games and that great voice. But all those guys, man, the 1987, I think I can name the whole entire 1987 Expos team. I loved the uniform and they had the players. It was great.
87 Expos. We're talking. Whoa. Tim Raines, of course.
Yeah.
Why am I blanking on the other infield?
Hubie Brooks. Tim Wallach.
Tim Wallach. Yes.
Yeah. You had guys like Darren Fletcher was catcher. You had Herm Winningham. You had Mike Lansing playing second base.
Tim Foley?
Tim Foley was...
Or a little later.
No, Tim Foley, and then maybe Lansing came after that, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Mike, Bryn Smith pitching. He had that big red beard. I was like, oh, I just love that, man.
So you were a fan of the game. I mean, you were... Yeah, huge.
Yeah, huge.
And when you're not playing, and even during your playing days, let's say, you're on those Marlins teams or those Cubs teams, you're not in the postseason. Would you watch the postseason, watch the World Series?
Yeah, absolutely. I went to postseason games, went to World Series games. I love baseball. I just always have. Was going to minor league games at Vancouver Canadian games when I was a kid, and then
Nice.
sitting behind the bullpen and talking to the pitchers and what do you guys do to be a professional ball player? And they were great and give me advice. And I'm in on it. I don't ever get bored talking the game.
Right, man. I mean, on this show, I usually talk to comedians, and I was talking to Todd Barry the other week, and we were having this conversation about how he called into David Letterman's show in 1982 as an 18-year-old. And then 10 years later, he's on Late Show with David Letterman doing stand-up. And I was saying, it's the equivalent of a baseball player growing up practicing on the mound, pretending you're in the World Series, and then you get to the big leagues one day. I mean, it's just a totally surreal thing to actually have your prophecy fulfilled in a way.
Dude, I sat behind the bullpen at a Vancouver Canadians game when they were the White Sox. They're AAA for the White Sox. And don't call me Donnie Paul, because the two ends.
Yeah.
And Wayne Edwards, a left-handed reliever, they were both in the bullpen, and they let me talk their ear off for 4 or 5 innings. And then finally, like, okay, we got to get ready to pitch. And I asked them everything. And then in 1998, Don Paul was my teammate with the Florida Marlins.
Wow.
Like, that's crazy. Here's a guy, like, he was giving me, like, you got to run a lot of poles. You got to make sure you stay out of trouble, get good grades, all this stuff, throw a lot of long time. They were just giving me all this advice, and I just was a sponge taking it all in. And then he becomes my teammate. Like, bizarre world. You're right, man. Living the dream. It was incredible.
Did he remember that exchange in Vancouver with you?
Yes, he did. I brought it up. He's like, me and Wayne talked about that like for a week afterwards, because like you wore us out. And it wasn't like the normal conversation. I was like asking like a tutor advice. Like it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Wow. Right. Well, I love talking baseball, clearly, which is why I invited you on my show. And I want to keep you here. Can you stay with me for a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, absolutely.
I want to expand this party here a little bit. Two's a company, but you've been fine company. I'm in the mood for a crowd, Ryan.
Yes.
Yeah. He's another long tenured baseball player. 13 years of big league service under his elastic belt. What's up with these baseball belts, by the way? They're so unique to baseball.
I know.
They've been the same for years.
I still like the no belt look personally. I'd be all over that.
I'm gonna start wearing those belts to the office and start suiting up. This guy came up with Oakland in 2007. He has pitched with the Nats, the Mets, the Braves, recently in spring training with the Giants before baseball fever was overtaken by an actual deadly fever. Please welcome Jerry Blevins, baby.
All right. Thanks for having me on, Scott.
We got a threesome.
What an honor. You're rocking the Mets hat. Of course you are.
Dude, rocking the Mets hat. And look what I'm pulling out for you. Remember these?
Is that my sock giveaway?
Remember these, bud?
What a gentleman you are.
You had your own sock giveaway? That's so legit.
I lobbied so hard to get a bobblehead giveaway that they were like, dude, we got to shut this guy up. And so they gave me a sock giveaway. Hey, beggars
That's
can't
better.
choosers. I'll
Hey,
take
anybody can get a bobblehead. A pair of sock giveaway, that's taking it to another level.
it. Yeah, see, Ryan gets it. He understands.
Jerry, I was hoping there'd be your big handsome face on the sock, but it's just the Mets logo. Whatever.
Literally, the only thing that was associated with me was like the part that goes around the socks to keep them together. Had my face stamped onto them before they stapled it. But hey, I love it. I still get people talking about it.
Full disclosure, I had a second pair of those socks, kept them intact, mint, and I sold them on eBay.
I was going to say, those are probably worth tens of cents.
Oh, I got at least $1.49. I put it in a lot with some other things that I've gotten over the years. But I'm trying to check my screen here. Is this actually Jerry Blevins or is that Adam Driver?
Yeah, so this is what quarantine does to me. All my hair's growing out. I've got this like mustache thing going on. It may be a 2-kid crisis or quarantine. I don't know, but I'm letting it fly.
What is your quarantine scene like, Jerry? You explain. And by the way, I should say, this is a very rare example of someone being a victim of the Rolodex roulette transitioning to a proper guest. Because for those who haven't been watching every night, a couple weeks ago, I think it was last week, Jerry, I have a segment called Rolodex Roulette, and Jerry was the Rolodex Roulette that night. He was randomly chosen from the contacts in my phone. And I called you, and I had Michelle Collins on the show, and I think we should call Michelle later tonight to see.
I'm for that.
Yes.
Michelle put me in charge of hooking her up with a baseball player. So I've got to call all my ex-Mets teammates to hook Michelle up, I think.
Yeah, she's hoping that the quarantine might be breaking up some marriages.
Most likely.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably the truth.
But so far, both of you guys, married men with kids, no problems? Pure domestic bliss?
Homeschooling's been a little tough.
See, my kids are 2 under 2, so we don't have time to do anything except for make sure they're not killing themselves. That's basically what parenting is at this point, because they have no sense of danger, and all it is basically just, preventing them from hurting themselves. So I'm constantly on edge, running back and forth.
Would you prefer that, Ryan, or your situation where you've got to teach them algebra and reading comp? What level are they at now?
I get the old dad. Why are you on your phone so much? Because I'm studying algebra so I can teach you. I have an 8th grader, a 5th grader, a 3rd grader, and then an 18-month-old. So we get the full gamut here. My dad said, "Good luck." He said, "We tried to homeschool you 3 boys when you guys were younger, but 2 of you got suspended for fighting, and the teacher got fired for drinking on the job." And I can totally understand that now. Like I get it.
Yeah, the principal's office is little. It's basically the bathroom, right? I mean, it's
yeah.
Jerry, what your situation? Because we talked about it on the phone a little bit. I was surprised to hear how your spring wrapped up, but give us an update on where things are at with you now, because you were in camp with San Francisco.
Yeah. So now, right before the roster freeze, they released me. So I'm basically, not only am I unemployed, but the league cannot sign people during this roster freeze. So I'm completely unemployable. So I'm basically just hanging out here in Arizona. We are here. We got a rental house, trying to stay in shape and the best I can, and I'm playing catch in the park with some of the other like Giants guys, and keeping our distance and wearing a mask around. Like it's chaos here. I'm a little jealous of Ryan. He's in his basement. I'm literally in my son's room where he sleeps in our rental house. So I've got like a random mirror here, a TV here that we've never turned on. Like I'm just completely out of my own element.
Oh, that's brutal, man. You don't feel right. You don't feel settled. You don't feel like you're at home.
It felt like a vacation for a while. Now it feels like a punishment in a sense. And it started to get hot here in Arizona. It's like 93 today. It's supposed to be 100 in the next couple of days. So I'm going to figure out what we got to do. I'm not built for this weather. I'm too skinny as is. I can't sweat that much.
You should rent an RV and drive back home.
Yeah, I swear to you, I literally am doing that. We rent one at the end of this month when our lease is up, and we're getting our car shipped, and my wife and I and our 2 kids are driving across country in like a week and going back to Ohio. I swear to you.
Oh,
Nice.
Are you bonding with some of these I guess former teammates at this point? Are you it's like this whole situation is so strange, but it's kind of like being, in the foxhole in a way, right?
Yeah, we're all like a bunch of lost puppies, like texting each other, like, what are you doing? Are you staying in shape? What's going to happen? We're all like trying to keep each other's, mind focused, but also understanding that like, there's bigger things going on that's bigger than baseball. So we're all kind of lost. I do want to tell a quick Ryan Dempster story.
Oh, please.
This is great. So it's 2007. I've never been in the big league. So I'm in camp with the Cubs. Halfway through that season, I get traded to Oakland, but they called me up to back up a game in spring training, and it's my first time ever meeting most of these guys. And so I get in, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go sit in a corner. I'm not going to be around anybody. I'm going to shut up. So I'm sitting in the corner by myself. I'm assuming like BP got over because everybody started flooding in. And a certain left-handed reliever comes and sits next to me. He will remain unnamed, but I imagine Ryan will understand. And I'm sitting there, and he's sitting next to me. I'm trying not to say anything. And Dempster comes over, and he like squats down in front of this left-handed pitcher that sat down. And Dempster goes, look, nobody hates you. You just talk too much. You have to understand when to shut your mouth. He goes, no. Just be quiet. Everybody likes you. Just know when to just zip it up. And I'm sitting there just like, I'm not going to say a word for the next 2 years. Like, I'm never going to talk. My first September in Oakland, I'm sitting next to Nick Swisher, and that's who I shared a locker with. Couldn't be a nicer guy, talking my ear off. One of the most lovely, genuinely live-spirited human beings. And he's like, hey, Blev, talk to me. I was like, hey, I don't want to overstep my bounds. I learned my lesson the first day of my backing up. So that was my introduction to the big leagues, and I saw Ryan just like consoling this guy that they were yelling at. So.
Oh man!
Still the fear of God.
I won't throw him under the bus, but his name rhymes with Bill Noman.
Yeah, and it's still some of the best advice I've ever gotten secondhand was just know when to shut up, know when you're beat, just be quiet, and I've taken that to heart ever since.
I mean, look, something that fans don't really take into consideration, but as someone who has played the game myself and been on, a few different teams, it's not. I mean, it's a team sport, right? At the end of the day, you're in this clubhouse, you're surrounded by all these guys. You didn't choose these people, these teammates. You've got to get along, right? Go along to get along, and you all have this common goal to win. But yeah, there's every team, I'm sure, every one of you and every team you've been on, there are some guys where you're like, you know what? If this was a fraternity, I wouldn't necessarily be pledging this house. Well,
you're also around every single day for 9-10 months straight, and so you're gonna get on each other's nerves, no matter if you like each other or not. It just is inevitable, and it was just a beautiful piece for me at that age to kind of get that introduction. It still is. I pass that advice on, just not. I do it directly, like, hey man, just understand that you got to ease your way into the big leagues. You can't just come at Chap and running your mouth all the time.
Yeah, timing's everything too, and that particular individual, we're still friends to this day. Coincidentally, see, he took a little bit of advice, but his timing wasn't always good. He was like the guy who was like clapping when somebody got hit by a car. It's like, yeah, oh, bad idea. I shouldn't have clapped right there.
Oh,
so yeah, we worked on it.
He gave me a glove that day. He pulled out a glove. I was like, oh man, you got like 10 gloves. That's awesome. Yeah, I was like, oh, they even have your name on it. He had like his initials on it. I was like, that's cool. He goes, yeah, they actually paid me for this. Do you want one? I was like, man, I can't believe it. Like, I was completely new to me that you could get paid to use a certain glove. I was like, I had the same glove I had with a Kirby Puckett in the palm that I've used since I was like 11. So actually, I used that glove for the first time when I got called up. It was the first glove I ever used in the big league. So he's always had a piece of my heart.
Unfortunately, Will Ferrell stole that one from you too.
That was worth it.
I want to keep this going, guys. What do you say?
Yeah,
All right, let's
absolutely.
do it.
It's good talking with you two, but my baseball appetite is still not sated. We're almost a month into what would have been the season, and I'm starving. So let's go where no ISO late night show has gone before. This is uncharted territory for me. We'll see if this works with the framing. Jack, my producer's done a hell of a job. If 3's a crowd, 4 is the paid attendance for those 1998 Marlins. Coming in from the bullpen, the closer for the Oakland Athletics heading into his 10th big league season, whenever that may be. Originally from down under, but in quarantine, he's up over. It's Liam Hendriks, everybody.
How we doing?
Look at this. Your neighbor, Jerry. Liam's also stuck in Scottsdale, isn't that right?
Yeah, still stuck out here. We just decided to stick around. It was because there was so much uncertainty at the start. We decided to stick around. We actually changed houses. Scott, you stay with me at our old place.
Yeah.
And then we've moved into a different place, a little bit further downtown. But yeah, it's nice. You got a bunch of a couple bedrooms, and the dogs have some space to run around in, which is nice.
Yeah, how the dogs doing? How's Stella?
Stella's good. Jaxie will be actually fostering Luella right now, like Cruella, but just with an L at the front. But we ended up having to take her in to get a rod put into her leg because she has a broken leg. Mm-hmm. So we're dealing with that right now. So she's got a pink cast with a little blue love heart on it. And yeah, that's pretty much what we've been doing, is making sure the kids are still fur babies are still alive.
Yeah, these are Liam's kids, by the way. Jerry, Ryan, why don't you tell Liam that dogs, babies, teenagers, not exactly equivalent, or are they?
I don't know. Dogs and babies are pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're both easy. Like, no, don't worry about it. All you got to do is, put them in a cage, make sure they have food and water, let them outside to go to the bathroom. It's all the same.
They're babies or puppies? Because we don't kennel our dogs.
Oh, okay. That's what I do with my kids. So I'm just making sure.
My kids have been on me forever. They're like, we got to have a dog. We got to have a dog. We got to have a dog. And I travel a ton, and I'm like, and I just I want to be there. I can't just I don't want to board the dog, and I want to be. And now that I can't go anywhere, they're like, perfect time, Dad. This is great. Let's get a dog. And I'm humming and hawing, but I don't think it's going to happen. I got a baby, so it's like I said, that's enough right there.
You got enough. My friends, the Sklar brothers, have a great routine about comparing. Another comedian was talking about their dog. Oh, it's so hard. It's just like a baby. He's like, really? if your baby runs away, you don't just get a new one 2 weeks later. All the same thing. You can't tie up your baby while you're having brunch.
Yeah, you can't go out to the bar for happy hour with your buddies and just leave your baby at home.
Right.
I'll keep that in mind. That's good advice too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Liam, where are you from in Australia?
Perth on the west coast. So,
yeah.
So the furthest place to get to.
Yeah. My best friend got married there in 2004.
Okay.
Yeah. We flew from the west. I flew from Denver. We're from Vancouver, and we flew over there, and he got married on a beach in Perth.
Nice.
So,
yeah.
Beautiful place, man.
Down there. It's unfortunately you're from Vancouver, because I've currently got my my Montreal hat on.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah.
The Habs. And I used to despise the Habs. All they ever did was whoop up on the Canucks, and it just drove me nuts.
Liam's got a hair crisis like I do right now.
Yeah. Show it off, man.
Yeah, I got a little more curl in mine, and it doesn't quite get as straight, but
same issue, guys. I'm going for the John Smoltz look right now. Just taking it way down.
One of my favorite parts about being a Brave last year was hearing Greg Maddux give John Smoltz's hairline a hard time on a weekly basis. It was one of the best things.
He told me that he used to take pictures every year on the plane from an overhead view. He said he had a 9-year stretch. You just watch his hairline go further and further back. That's so funny.
He's got to give him a montage one day for Christmas.
Well, the joke's on us because without barbershops open up, we're struggling. And meanwhile, Ryan and John, you can just take a little bit. Yeah, good to go.
Scott,
I mean, guard and I'm fine.
You've probably had to trim your beard probably every 3 hours.
Oh yeah,
because your facial hair grows quick.
He's like
this is like 2 months of growth on my lip. So
have you even shaved yet, Jerry, or is this just like it just grows in as a mustache?
It does. It grows in all Ohio because my roots show.
That's left. Jerry's mustache is left over from November.
Hey, you can't stop supporting.
Yeah, you're still trying to grow that thing from last November. Right. Liam, we talked about Australia. Have you been in touch with family and friends down there? It seems like they've got this coronavirus almost beat. I heard from my friend in Sydney that daily new infections have dropped below 40 for the entire continent. Like there were 40 new infections on my block today.
Yeah, they shut down the states pretty early. So they've shut down the states. You can't even domestically fly, travel, or anything like that. It's my dad when he was going to work. He had a checkpoint just to get like 2 hours down the road. So he was getting checked, getting into certain like suburbs and stuff like that. So it's they shut that down pretty quickly. But the one thing is the school stayed open for a little bit longer than I thought they should have. But at the end of the day, they've been doing a really good job on kind of fighting the pandemic that's going on. They've unfortunately there's been some cruise ships that have been stuck off the coast for a while that I'm hoping at finally getting that figured out. But yeah, they seem to do a good job. It helps that we're an island, and it helps that it's it's not close to anything. So that definitely helps with the just the travel coming in and everything's like we're roughly the same size as the U.S., but we've got 7 cities, and we've got like 25, 30 million people rather than 380.
I don't know, Jerry. I mean, look, depending on what happens this season, Australian Professional Baseball League's looking pretty good right now. They've got a league down there.
Yeah, they got a league. The travel from Perth isn't great. It's like being on the West Coast and every other team's on the East Coast, though.
I might move to Australia if this is the only place on Earth that's got this virus contained. I think we all need to move down there. There's plenty of room.
Australians are used to everything trying to kill them anyway, so that's why they kick this thing's butt.
Yeah,
I'd move to Australia for no other reason, just because it's an awesome place. The people there are amazing, man.
Yeah,
they're incredible people. Yeah,
it's nice. We're laid back. We try and take everything as blase as we can, and it seems to rub off on a lot of people.
In 2004, when we went there, we left Perth. We spent 6 weeks there, and then we flew over to Adelaide, and then drove down to Melbourne. And we woke up, me and my buddy, one day, and we were going to go to Cooper's Brewery, I think it was.
Yeah, Cooper's Pale.
It was closed that particular day for tours, so we just decided to do our own beer tour, and we just went to a pub and had a beer, and then went to another pub. And the people, we ended up meeting tons of people. We had invites for dinner at houses. They just incredible time. It was the best beer tour I've ever been on in my life.
And it has nothing to do with who anybody is. It's just tend to be a friendly culture. This is Winnie.
Hi, Winnie.
She comes and goes between being Winnie Cooper and sometimes it's Winnie Sanderson from Hocus Pocus. Right now she's being a little bit more Winnie Sanderson.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
I've been a guest at the Hendriks road. I've been a guest at Shea Hendriks. You're running a roadside zoo over there, my friend.
Yeah, but she's the friendly one. She's always going to come say hello. She's very vocal, and she's made some appearances. She made an appearance on High Heat the other day. Oh. Came on and did all that with the Mad Dog himself. So she seemed to be all right with that.
You guys got gumball machines full of cat food. You just put quarters in, and then you can get some for the guests.
Half the time we have to figure out where they are, so we have these wands that have bells on them, and we're like, okay, where's? Because we got her and Tempe, and we're usually running around where is it? Are they in the other room? Okay, whack the wand around, and all of a sudden one of them comes out and runs and tries to attack it, but I don't know if you can hear her.
That's so awesome.
I think that's Ryan's baby, actually. Well, this is cool, guys. This is an exciting opportunity. I think now that we're all here, we got 3 big leaguers here, and Jerry. I mean, I assume you're looking to get back this year, right? Or you're not calling it quits, are you?
That's not the plan right now, but we'll see what happens. There's bigger issues at hand besides baseball, like we talked about before. But I'm still, trying to latch on. I'm staying in shape and planning on playing, but we'll see what MLB has in store.
And Ryan, I know you're looking to make a comeback, so this is relevant for all of us here. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe not myself.
Just for one more win, Scott. Just for one more win.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, the OCD part of you must have been furious that you retired with 132, 133.
You know what I do to justify it? In my head, I go, well, as a starter, because I was a terrible closer. So I'm like, my record as a closer was awful. So I'm like, okay, I'll put that aside. As a starting pitcher, I'm well above 500. I'm comfortable.
There you go.
And I have to go the other way around because I was a terrible start.
I had one start, and I think I broke a record. I allowed as Scott probably remembers as a Mets fan, the first 2 hitters went deep, and I was like, the first time that happened, and just breaking records, typical stuff.
Yeah, they were going to do a Jerry Blevins noose night, but instead they came up with the socks. So we're going to try.
Hey, we got 3 guys here, all with major league saves. That's saying something right there.
That's the truth. There we go. Yeah. Positive thoughts.
Yes.
So now that we're all here, let's figure this out. Did Carol Baskin kill her husband? No, no. Wait. No, let's figure out what's going to happen with baseball. What's happening here? Do we have any news on this?
Carol Baskin killed her husband. Don't think that it didn't happen. Killed him, whacked him.
Whack.
I guess I'm naive. I don't think she did it.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only person in America that believes that, and Australia apparently too.
Well, I think Jeff Lowe did it. I think Jeff Lowe's her first husband.
There's the true villain of this story, Jeff Lowe.
My tarot card reader.
And his affliction shirts.
Did it.
Wait, Ruby, your tarot card reader, what did she say?
Tarot card said, they pulled the card, said she did
it. See? I mean, what more do you need than that right there, Scott?
She said I was going to have a good year last year. She said that there was a bunch of things that she's come out and said that have been pretty spot on. So if you,
I think that's going to hold up in court. I really do.
That's the first time I've been in a conversation where somebody has used the phrase "my tarot reader" with anything. So I'm just happy to be here.
Jerry, I'll let you touch my crystals if you really want.
For somebody that spiritual, you really don't like yoga. I remember from spring training last year. He's the only guy that refused to stretch while we were doing our yoga stretch. He's over there sipping his Starbucks. You figured you'd be a little in touch with your chi.
I mean, you got to keep everything contained. I can't. If I stretch, it just releases too much.
Well, you figured something out. You got a hell of a year.
Yeah, you don't need chi when you got the caffeine. That's the real life source right there, right?
True. With 2 kids now, I've got one. The 5-month-old just started crawling. So if I don't get my coffee in before they're both awake, like I am a wreck. My wife is like, I'm going to get you some coffee. Like, take a breath. We're going to need your
Jerry,
energy.
when you get 4, I know how to put a self IV in, and it's just a drip. It's just a full on drip system that goes in.
That's next level. When you go to Starbucks and ask for the drip, I don't think that's what they had in mind.
Yeah, just go ahead and just pour it right in that port real quick, and then we'll just keep moving. Thanks.
You got the mobile cart. Just fill it. Just give me a bag.
They might have to put Purell in the IV this year when we get things get back in order. Can I ask to be somewhat serious, to maybe try to get something relevant to the baseball fans watching? I mean, we could talk about Liam's cat all night, but Liam, especially, I guess, because you're on a roster. Are you hearing this antibody testing? You're good with that? You're cool with this thing?
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm all for whatever's going to get everything kind of moving back as quickly and as safely as possible. Whether it be this test and if you come back with the antibodies or anything like that, but. I just don't know how long the antibodies last in your system. Like, okay, well, maybe say someone was sick in January. Are they still around now, or is there like a shelf life to it? Is there I just don't know the answer.
Yeah, for me, like, I think playing in front of no fans in the stadium, like Ryan said, he played for the '98 Marlins. I've been in Oakland when we were terrible and we're playing Kansas City Royals, who were terrible, in a midday Wednesday game. You know, we're used to it. We can do it. We don't want to do it, but like, as long as their fans want to see it and they're at home and we're not taking, medical supplies from people that need it, and we're not putting any stadium workers or anybody else at risk, I think we're ready to come back whenever, the country's ready for us to play.
I think the three of us are probably as good as anybody at social distancing too, 60 feet, 6 inches away. So we're in a safe spot out there. Yeah, I would love to see baseball. I would love to see baseball being played, but I know that they want to make sure, there's so many layers and folds and everything, but, it'd be great. Even, I was talking to somebody, they're like, well, what if they only played like a 100-game season or an 80-game season or something? I'm like, you know what that means? That literally means that like 20 of the 30 teams are in it, because every year there's always like 6 to 8 teams at July 1st are kind of in it. And they're like, should they trade for somebody? Should they, are they going to be contenders? But then the season wears on and, they don't have the depth. Now they don't have to have as much depth because the season will be shorter. Obviously, we want to be playing under normal conditions, but you can make the best out of a situation, and it might be exciting that way.
Yeah, the new mound visit rule is going to be really, really strict this year.
Yeah, you got that right.
No visits whatsoever.
I didn't like mound visits anyways. Get off my mound.
No pitcher wants that conversation.
No. Does Scherzer relax his strikeout strut now? He has to go a little bit closer to the mound, or is that?
Or a trainer the trainers aren't going to be coming out. I had a trainer. He came out. I waved him off to come out, and he kept coming. And I was like, "Don't come out here." And he came. And then after the inning, I went in and I said, "Hey, Oni, if you ever come to the mound again when I'm sitting there telling you not to, you're going to need a trainer. So just stay off my mound." And he never came back out. Yes, there we go.
Oh, who do we have here?
He's got a popsicle on there. Can you say hi?
Popsicle.
Oh,
this is Alice.
Popsicle.
Yeah, this is Alice.
It's little
Hey,
Jim.
Alice.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Oh, he's adorable.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's baseball. Hey, Daddy's at work. Can you give us a break?
Alice.
Oh yeah, this
Alice,
is work.
who's your favorite baseball player?
Who's your favorite baseball player? That hurts my feelings that he's had to ask. I just got popsicle. But hey, I'm gonna send him to his mom. Hey, love you, buddy. Okay. This is how you get. This is what happens on IsoLateNight. You don't get a real green room. You get real life action happening.
I love it. This is what makes this show unique from whatever James Corden's doing right now.
Yeah, he can't compete with this.
I would assume.
Driving his car.
By the way, Ellis's favorite player is Ellis Valentine. If we're gonna go back to the old
standard.
Or
Mark Ellis.
Or
Mark Ellis, former teammate, Oakland A.
AJ Ellis, right?
If it's Doc Ellis, we're gonna have a talk with him already.
We might have to have some interventions of a different kind.
Ah, man, I could truly talk to you till the cows come home. When did the cows come home? I think in about 10 minutes. But
right when the fat lady sings.
I mean, Ryan, I wanted to get into your stats a little bit, but maybe we'll have you back and do another time. And
absolutely.
So let's wrap things up here with a segment that I debuted this week, and everyone's hated it so far. We'll see how you respond to it. You can all answer individually. It's called. We have got a graphic for it. You got the graphic ready, Jack? Here it is. Free quarantinely masked questions.
It took me a second, not gonna lie. I had to really dive into that one.
I think we're making fun of Canadian accents every minute.
Oh goodness! All right, this is rapid fire kind of thing. We can go around the horn. We can start, I guess, clockwise from top left. Liam, you can kick it off. How many times have you thought you had it?
Well, there's been a couple times, not since we've been quarantined, but I had pneumonia at the start of at the start of February. So like I was in San Francisco in January, they diagnosed me with pneumonia the first week of February. So I've thought I've had it since, like once it came out, I was like, oh, it's pneumonia symptoms. Well, I had a very, very mild case of pneumonia, so I thought I had it then, but since that, absolutely nothing.
Actually, they're saying that, that might be it, frankly. I've heard some people who got sick early in the year in San Francisco, you were saying?
Yep, was in San Francisco for the Australia Day function with the U.S.-America Chamber of Commerce.
I know someone else who's in San Francisco early in the year got sick. I'm telling you, you might have been one of the early cases and you didn't even know it. Just saying. Just saying.
I'm patient zero, apparently.
Yeah. Ryan, Jerry, your hypochondria has been kept in check?
I know. I'm pretty sure I've had it. Like, there's been like 6 or 7 times where I thought I had it. One big stretch where I was like, I never get sick. So, and then all of a sudden, like, I just was run down and coughing and just not feeling good. So I thought for sure I had it.
Every sniffle, every time I have a cough, I'm like, oh God, I've got it. So it's like probably once every 2 or 3 days. So I've had it about 40 times.
Rona, is that you?
Yeah, exactly. I have these kids. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get my kids sick. It's gonna be the worst. So I'm a little bit paranoid about it.
I think it's transmittable through popsicles, so be careful. Mm-hmm. Are we gaining weight or losing weight? And are we plus or minus 15 pounds?
I am gaining 100%.
The quarantine 15.
No,
right?
I just had to go put on a diet because I'm looking at myself. I'm like, this isn't pretty. I mean, I wear a tight enough jersey as is. I can't afford to gain weight.
I'm constantly playing for the tie.
I haven't gained weight since I was like 21. So I've been the same weight for like 20 years, no matter what I do.
Hard to crack, Jerry.
That's right. Yeah, I've been plus or minus like 4 pounds from my current weight for my entire adult life. So.
And the donut shops are closed, so that's helping out right now.
Oh, I know. I can't imagine a New York City without being able to stop in and get a donut or a bagel, a nice slice. It'd be crazy.
They are, but Pillsbury is still selling the ready to make cinnamon buns. So I find that you can just make a half a dozen of those every morning, and it's just fine.
Excuse me, why make them, Ryan? You just open the carton up and take a chunk out.
Great point. Great point. I'll put it right on top of my bowl of ice cream.
There you go. All right. Next question? What's been your most embarrassing online purchase in lockdown? A lot of us doing retail therapy right now.
Embarrassing. I don't have any embarrassing. Like I went to CVS the other day. Well, like right before we got really shut down, and I bought a pregnancy test, condoms, and diapers, and I put them on the counter, and the CVS person looked at me and they were like, I think you're mixing up some steps here. I was like, hey, we've got all these problems all at the same time, so don't judge me. Just take the cash. So
that's so good.
That's like Homer buying a nudie magazine.
Yeah. Gotta have it.
Yeah. Well, you're not tying the tubes yet, I guess.
I've been anti-clicking the mouse. I have not been Amazoning it up.
I don't believe it.
A couple things. Like I bought a couple things for filming some stuff, and that's it, man. Furniture we just purchased a second home in Bend, Oregon, like 3 weeks before this all happened, and so we haven't been there, and so it's like getting stuff for that.
Yeah, I bought a 4-pack of Vegemite.
Oh, nice. Were you inspired by Tom Hanks?
So I got my Vegemite, and I've been having it on my toast, because if you ever feel under the weather, a nice slice of toast with some thinly like smeared on Vegemite can solve everything.
Yeah, do you see all that stuff with Tom Hanks and everybody was giving him crap because he put like way too much on there?
I haven't seen that, but it's just that's the prototypical like thing to do if you're not from Australia is smear it on like peanut butter or jam or jelly or anything like that, and it's just it's concentrated soy sauce is pretty much what it is. So you can't do that.
Oh, see, the things we learn here on IsoLateNight.
Yeah, exactly. All right, like a couple more here. I know you guys got so much more binge watching to get back to, but which current or former teammate would you be most worried about slapping five with again?
Houston Street would be mine. The guy, he's an animal, but he like used to say that it builds up antibodies. Him like not washing his hands. Absolute gentleman, but he's like, look, I'm just building immunities. My body's getting stronger. I'm fighting things off. So I'm not sure how he's handling this, have to wash your hands stuff, but that would be mine.
Kevin Millar.
Millar.
Yeah, he's just like one of those guys where like he probably thinks that he's invincible to it, Like he's going around and like wiping people's noses when they like sneeze. He's like, I got that. Let me get that with my fingers. Like, and then just wiping it on his jeans, and then he's just fine.
I gotta go with someone who doesn't wear batting gloves when they hit. So like Stephen Vogt, just because he doesn't wear batting gloves, and I'm pretty sure his second layer of skin is just pine tar. Like it's unbelievable. So I think there's that. Greatest guy ever, washes his hands religiously once he's done. Like it's unbelievable how he's not got cracked skin, but pine tar everywhere all the time.
It's good when you're pitching and he's your catcher.
I mean, I don't know about that.
Is Rob Manfred watching?
I don't understand even what you guys are talking about.
None of you guys play with Moises Alou, I guess, huh? No one's with Moises Alou.
Oh, great call.
Yeah, you don't want to be even before coronavirus, you wouldn't want to shake his hand.
No, always knuckles. Always knuckles with him.
Yeah, I do the karate chop. You just go sideways. You never touch like fist or anything. It's just side.
Another good answer would have been Antonio Alfonseca because he's got a little more surface area.
That extra digit.
That was my favorite. Jim Leland was my manager, and he was closing, and we'd go out after a win, and he'd come through the line, and Jim Leland would say, "Give me 6." It was so great.
All right, who's the most famous person who has checked in on you since Corona came along? And we could go with like maybe Hall of Fame baseball player type, baseball famous or non-baseball famous.
Oh, I'm not that cool, Scott.
Is it me, Jerry?
It might be you, I think.
Oh, that's a terrible answer.
Outside of the baseball world, it might be you. Oh, I've got a buddy, Paul Soder. He's one of the Broken Lizard guys. We're pretty close. He's a big baseball fan. So there you go. Does that count?
Sure. Broken Lizard. Yeah. The comedy troupe.
The comedy
Super Troopers.
Super Troopers.
Yeah.
And Tacoma, they got the new show. Don't they have a new show? Tacoma FD?
Tacoma FD. Yeah, the two of them.
Yeah. Liam, have you heard from
probably there's a guy who was on The Voice. His name's Chris Cawley. He's a chapel singer. He's a singer now, and he's been doing all this stuff. We met him at the Christian conference, and he got me on to like legitimately going through his Rolodex and finding the most famous person they had on there. And as I'm getting onto the call with a bunch of churches all throughout the country, Candace Cameron Bure was getting off the call. I thought that was pretty cool, but
DJ Tanner.
Oh yeah,
I'm a fan.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Valerie Bure, so I'm a fan of all of it.
That's good. How about you, Scott? Who you got?
Mark Summers, Double Dare host Mark Summers.
Double Dare.
The original slime guy, right?
The original slime guy, yeah.
What would you do? I love that.
Well, exactly. What you did, and Mark became a guest on my show. See, if you check in on me, I'm going to rope you into doing the show. That's how.
You truly extend your friendships to profit.
Exactly, Liam. I'm going to say I'm disappointed the answer wasn't Leighton Hewitt, but
so am I, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I could meet that guy. I mean, we both yelled the same thing after we did something cool.
Ryan, have you heard from Bill?
I have not heard from Bill, unfortunately. Yeah, just a marquee company message, but I'd say probably Tom Morello. Tom called, texting with him, checked in.
Yeah,
I was just making sure his mom Mary's up there in age and making sure she was doing all right. She lives up in Libertyville, but she's out in California with them. So.
There you go. Listen, it's 10 o'clock on the East Coast. You've given me so much of your time. I actually was texting Michelle, Jerry. She's got an early call time, so she's already in bed. We're past the Michelle Collins call. I know. I'm disappointed too.
I answered for her, and she can't do it for me. That hurts.
Do you have anyone you could throw out there? She said, give them all my personal number.
I might have to go lower on the list now that she didn't call back in.
Uh-oh, I'm going to play this back for her. But do you have any, and this applies for, I guess, any single lady out there. Michelle happens to be very funny and tall, so it helps to, have a tall guy connect with her. But any single guys in your life, ball players, that you can maybe recommend the ladies of America watching right now should be sliding safely into their DMs?
I mean, my most famous teammate that's still single, I'd have to go with Syndergaard, the king of the shirtless bullpens, a fellow, you're a Met fan. I'm sure his DMs are wide open for you guys.
Jerry, I've actually been out with Noah a couple times. He's doing all right. I don't think he needs any help.
We used to take, like, when he first got called up, we used to take the 7 train into Queens together, and I bet, like, by his third start, he couldn't take public transportation anymore. It was like, first of all, he's so big and he looks like somebody anyway, even if he wasn't a pitcher. Somebody'd be like, who is that giant? And then you add to, we're on the 7 train going, they're like, that's who that is. And you can just hear the entire train. You can start seeing people coming from other trains that have texted their friends, and Noah's like starting to get surrounded. So Noah's also, he's wide open in the DM section, I believe.
Hey, on those trains, did anybody ever say, no, it's the guy from Die Hard, the one upstairs that John McClane beats up?
Yeah, he's too young to appreciate that joke, but I thoroughly enjoyed that. The same hairline nowadays too, I think.
Yeah.
Hans Gruber, we're talking about here. Yeah.
No, the other one.
The henchman. The henchman. The long blonde hair.
Oh, you're talking about for Noah, because I was looking at you, Jerry. You're looking more like
Was it Alan Rickman? I'll take that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I used to get Ross from Friends when I had shorter hair. Adam Driver recently when I had the mustache, and so I'll take Alan Rickman. What do you laugh? Don't laugh like that, Liam.
Oh, I'm laughing at Ross. I didn't even I didn't put it together until then, and that's brilliant.
It happens. Like, honestly, in New York, one of the first days I was there as a Met, somebody came up to me and I was like, "Oh yeah," somebody recognized me. He's like, "You're from Friends, right?" I was like, "Yep." Let me sign this. David Schwimmer, gave him an autograph, wrote it out.
Perfect.
It's somebody's day. They're gonna take that home with them, really thinking it's the real deal.
Well, that might be the rarest autograph of all. It's a David Schwimmer signed by Jerry Blevins.
That'll be worth just as much as those socks that you kept.
I was gonna say, can you sign my socks as David Schwimmer? Oh man, listen, Ryan, we should pitch this to McGlary and Patterson. I think they need content on the network. I think we can get going here.
This is a lot of fun right here. I'm having a blast tonight.
I know you're horning into my territory off the mound. We could give a plug.
Different time slots. We're good.
Ryan Dempster, all of a sudden, 16 years in the big leagues, he wants to become a talk show host. Fortunately, it doesn't work the other way around. I'm trying to go from a talk show host to a big leaguer. Not as easy, Ryan.
You're doing a pretty darn good job. I know that.
Well, I miss you. I miss all you guys. Jerry, I miss you on my Mets. Hopefully, when the rosters thaw out, they'll give you a shot again. And
Liam, Dempster to put in a good word over there. I'm unemployed right now. We can make things happen.
Yeah,
you got it.
Hey, we're all going to work on that post-baseball career. I'm all in on it, too.
Yeah, you're starting to think about it earlier than you thought you would, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I got new teeth last year for a reason. I may as well try and be on TV with them.
There you go.
You
can be those pearly whites.
You could be the Australian translator for Ryan.
Hey, Liam, when you guys get back to playing, make sure you go up to Kotsay and say, hey, I was talking with Dempster, and he said you need to show me the Greyhound.
All right, I'll have to ask about it.
Yeah.
We'll leave things on that cryptic note. My thanks to Liam Hendriks, Ryan Dempster, Jerry Blevins. This is Wednesday Night Baseball on IsoLateNight. I'll check in with you guys later, offline, off camera.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having us on.
Guys, let's get baseball back on the air. I want my job back too. They're out of work. I'm out of work. It's a total mess. But how about that, folks? Our first Wednesday Night Baseball. I think it was a success. I think we'll do it again. In fact, we are doing it again. Yes, I've already booked next Wednesday night. Eric Burnsy, another MLB Network star. He'll be joining me along with Jake and Jordan from Change Up. That's right. You know him as Cespedes Family Barbecue. I hope you enjoyed this evening. You know, the dearth of baseball on TV has been replaced. You have been sustained and nourished, right? Baseball fans, Mets fans, baby. Jerry Blevins with the Sox. Love it. Stick around on this channel, you know, on this page. Don't go anywhere. Tomorrow night, we're back. I want you to keep your tabs open for the next 24 hours. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm welcoming Nick Swartzen, although he just contacted me and said, your talk show is during the NFL draft, ? Hopefully he will not cancel. Big Minnesota Vikings fan. And yeah, the NFL draft is the only sports action we have right now. So I can understand why he's a little upset. But no, Nick Swartzen, we're going to get him on the show. Akila Hughes is on the show. And then we got one more week of April, baby. One more week of 5 shows a week. And then I'm mixing it up because I cannot do this. I have not eaten dinner. I think I've eaten lunch. I'm losing my mind. But we're doing it all for a good cause. City Meals on Wheels. Check that out. Go to citymeals.org, or you can click the button right there on the IsoLateNight.com page. Check the description link. There's a link in the description. Yeah, I'm fading. I'm fading right now. I need a power bar. I need to power up. Thank you for joining me, for sticking around for this extended show tonight. I'm Scott Rogowsky signing off, saying, remember, stay safe, stay healthy, because if you suffer, so will my ratings. Good night. We're talking baseball. Are we talking baseball? I hope we are. Bye.